Hi students, in this video class I am going to teach you the general characteristics of compounds of alkali metals. First one, oxides of alkali metals. First one, oxides of the alkali metals. So here alkali metals forms alkali metal oxides when they are subjected to combustion in the presence of the air. Example, we take lithium. So lithium is subjected to combustion in the presence of air. This one reacts with oxygen and gives us Li2O. So to balance this equation, you multiply this one with 4 and you multiply this one with 2. So 4 moles of lithium on combustion react with 1 mole of oxygen and gives us 2 moles of the Li2O. Okay, and here small amount of the Li2O2 also formed. Very small amount of the Li2O2 also formed. That is lithium peroxide. And next one, sodium. Sodium reacts with oxygen and gives sodium peroxide. That is Na2O2. So here 2 moles of the sodium reacts with 1 mole of oxygen gives Na2O2, and very small amount of sodium superoxide also given by the sodium when it is reacted with oxygen. And next one, rest of the elements. So rest of the metals, when they are subjected to combustion in the presence of air, they give superoxides MO2. Where M means potassium, rubidium, and next one cesium. So potassium, when it is reacting with oxygen, this one can give KO2. So which is potassium superoxide, and rubidium gives RbO2, rubidium superoxide, and cesium gives CsO2, that is cesium superoxide. So now here why lithium gives majorly lithium monoxide and why sodium only gives majorly peroxide, and why these elements or these metals in combustion they give only superoxides. So what is the reason for this? We have to know. So before that guys, it is better to understand, it is better to have a understanding about the size order, and next one, density of the charge, density of negative charge of all these oxides. Okay, so now O minus 2 is known as monoxide, or simply which is known as oxide. And next one, O2 minus 2, so which is known as peroxide, In this peroxide, between two oxygens, single bond present, this connection is known as, this linkage is known as peroxy linkage, and each oxygen has -1 oxidation state. And next one is O2 minus, which is known as superoxide. In this ion, two oxygens present and only monovalent, single positive charge is present, unit positive charge present. So here each oxygen carries minus half negative charge, minus half charge. So right guys. So now let us see the charge density. First let us write the order of the charge density in these three oxides. You see here only one oxygen present, this one has -2 charge, and in this case each oxygen has -1 charge. Here each oxygen has -half oxidation, -half charge. So now you can say that the density of the negative charge is more on O minus 2, and next one, the density of the charge upon the peroxide is less comparing with the monoxide, and followed by superoxide O2 minus. So this is the density of negative charge order among the oxides. Next one, what about the size? So in case of size, here O minus 2 contains very small size, or O minus 2 contains small size because here only one atom present. So next one, O2 minus 2 and O2 minus. Here two atoms present. In both the ions, two atoms present. And next one, when two atoms present in a given ion, we need to consider the charge. So which one has more charge? That one contains more size. So between these two, this one contains more size. So then next one here, O2 minus and O2 minus. This is the size order of the oxide. This is the density of the negative charge order of the oxide. Right? Right, guys. So now here the size of this one is very small, and next one, the negative charge density is very high. The negative charge density is very high on the monoxide. So then this is the monoxide. This one has small size, and the next one more density of the negative charge. So the negative field is very high upon the oxygen, that is monoxide, and the next one O2 minus. So upon O2 minus, first let me see this is the size of the O2 minus. This one contains more size than O minus 2. And the next one, what about the density of the negative charge? This one contains poor field of negative charge. The density of the negative charge is very less upon the superoxide. And the next one, peroxide. Peroxide contains more size. Peroxide contains more size than superoxide. And here this peroxide contains more density of the negative charge comparing with the superoxide. So here charge density is high. The negative charge density is high upon the peroxide comparing with the superoxide. So this is monoxide or simply oxide, which is monoxide, and this is the superoxide, and which is peroxide. So right, guys, this is the status of the size. And the next one, the density of the negative charge over the three oxides. Right. So now here our question is, why lithium forms only Li2O, or majorly it forms Li2O? Why it doesn't form majorly Li2O2 and next one LiO2? Lithium is unable to form the peroxides and next one superoxides. So this one is capable to form majorly Li2O, lithium monoxide. So then let us see what is the reason for this one. So right, guys, lithium forms very small cation. Lithium forms a cation which is very small. And the next one, upon this one, the cloud, positive charge cloud is very high. The density of the positive charge is very high on the lithium. Due to the small size of the lithium ion, this one contains more positive cloud. The field of the positive charge is very high. So in order to neutralize this more positively charged ion, it needs an anion with the small size, and the next one, more electron or more negative cloud, more negative field of the charge. So then which is suitable among these three? This one is the suitable. I mean monoxide is suitable. That's why always lithium forms Li2O. In Li2O, this is the monoxide. Upon this we have -2 charge. Each lithium has +1 charge. In order to neutralize the more positive charge present upon the lithium ion, it needs an anion with the small size, and the next one, more density of the negative charge. More negative charge. So among these three, this one is suitable. That's why lithium is able to form only Li2O. And remaining anions contains more size, and the charge of the negative charge density also very poor over these two ions. So that's why they are unable to neutralize the Li plus or the positive charge present on lithium ion. Okay. And next one, let me take sodium. Sodium forms Na plus ion, and the size of the Na plus ion is little bit large comparing with the lithium ion. And what about the positive charge density also less. Comparing with positive charge density is less upon the sodium ion comparing with lithium ion. Comparing with the lithium ion, sodium ion size is more, and the next one, the positive charge field is less. So now, in order to neutralize this one, it needs an anion with little bit large size, and the next one, negative charge cloud also contains less. Let me take another one, K plus. Potassium forms K plus. So here K plus contains more size than Na plus, and the next one, upon this one, the density of the positive charge also very less. So then this one needs to neutralize this one, it needs an anion with large size, and the next one, poor density of the negative charge. Now to neutralize the Na plus, the suitable one is here peroxide, because peroxide contains enough negative field to neutralize the positive field upon the sodium. So that's why this one can form Na2O2. Now between these two, this one has small size, but here comparing with the peroxide, superoxide contains poor negative field. That negative field is not enough to neutralize the positive charge present upon the sodium ion. So that's why here this one is suitable to neutralize the positive charge present upon the sodium. So always sodium forms peroxide. And next one, potassium plus and cesium plus, rubidium plus. So these ions are very large in size and they have poor field or small field of the positive charge. So they need a ion with large size and very small negative field. So this one has poor negative field, so which is suitable to neutralize the K plus and RB plus, and the next one CS plus. That's why they are ready to form superoxides like KO2, and the next one RbO2, and the next one CSO2. So right guys, this is the reason for the formation of various types of the oxides by the first A group elements. So now here we need to discuss the stability of these three superoxides. We need to discuss here the stability of the potassium superoxide, rubidium superoxide, and the next one cesium superoxide we have to discuss. So before moving about the stability of these three oxides, so it is better to know what is the lattice energy. So lattice energy means what? Lattice energy or lattice enthalpy, both are same. So the amount of energy required, lattice energy means the amount of energy required to break down the 1 mole of ionic compound into the individual ions is known as lattice energy. So I will give you one illustration. For example, let me consider 1 mole of the NaCl. 1 mole of the NaCl. 1 mole. So now NaCl is an ionic compound. So now in order to break down this one into 1 mole of the Na plus ion, 1 mole of the Na plus ion and 1 mole of the Cl minus ion, how much amount of energy is required? That is known as lattice energy, right? So here to break down the 1 mole of ionic compound into their individual ions, how much amount of energy is required? That energy is known as lattice energy. Here some amount of energy is required to break down the 1 mole of the sodium chlorides into Na plus and 1 mole of the Cl minus. This energy is known as the lattice energy. Okay. So next Right, let me write this one. Ionic compounds with a large size of anion, ionic compounds with large size of anion, lattice energy increases, their lattice energy increases by increasing size of cation. So right guys, these are the ionic compounds. In this ionic compounds, here the size of the negative ion, that is superoxide, is large. And the next one here, their lattice energy increases with increasing size of the cation. So now you know guys, potassium contains small size than rubidium. Rubidium contains small size than cesium. So right. So now here we can write the stability order. KO2 has KO2 is less stable than RbO2. RbO2 is less stable than CsO2. This one has more lattice energy comparing with the remaining two superoxide. So due to the lattice energies, so here the stability order is present like this for the superoxides. So right guys, this is about the oxides of the alkali metals. And next one, hydroxides. Hydroxides of the alkali metals. Hydroxides of the alkali metals we can get upon hydrolysis of the oxides of the alkali metals. So right, alkali metals, oxides of, it may be superoxide, peroxide, monoxide, whatever. Oxides of alkali metals upon hydrolysis means when you treat with water, they give hydroxides. They give hydroxides of alkali metals. Example, let me consider lithium oxide, that is Li2O. This Li2O, when it is dissolved in water, this one gives LiOH, lithium hydroxide. So to balance this equation, multiply this one with 2. Two lithiums are there, and here two lithiums, two hydrogens, two oxygens, and here one oxygen, 2, and 2 hydrogen. So all the atoms are equal on both sides. So now this is the lithium hydroxide, which is lithium hydroxide. OH group is known as hydroxide. This is lithium, so which is known as lithium hydroxide. And next one, sodium peroxide. When it is subjected to hydrolysis, so this one gives sodium hydroxide, NaOH, and this one gives hydrogen peroxide, H2O2. So in order to balance this equation, multiply with 2 here, and here also multiply with 2. So in both sides, on reactant side, product side, number of atoms are equal. Okay. So now guys, here when you dissolve this one in water, so then bond breaking takes place between the sodium and oxygen, and the bond breaking takes place between the H and OH in water molecule. So now here these two bonds are break, and Na combined with OH and it gives us NaOH. Here also we can get one more NaOH. So total number of NaOH molecules are 2. And this hydrogen combined with O, and this hydrogen combined with O and gives us here hydrogen peroxide, that is H2O2. You can get only one H2O2 molecule. Next one, what about this superoxide? Superoxides, when they are dissolved in water, they can also give hydroxides. Example, let me take KO2. This is one of the superoxide, which is known as potassium superoxide. This potassium superoxide, when it is dissolved in water, this one gives KOH, potassium hydroxide plus H2O2 plus oxygen gas. So now to balance this equation, multiply this one with 2 here, and here also multiply with 2, and this one also multiply with 2. 2 potassiums, here also 2 potassiums, and the number of oxygens here 2 plus 2 4, and 4 plus 1 5. And next one, in this case 2 oxygens, and here 2 4 and 6 oxygens. So now here are 6 oxygens, 2 into oxygen, 2 oxygens and 4 oxygens, 6 oxygens. Hydrogens, 4 hydrogens are there here, and 2 hydrogens, 2 hydrogens, 4 hydrogens. All the atoms are equal on both sides. So right guys, all the oxides of the metals, when they are dissolved in water, they give respect to hydroxides. Right? Let us see some properties of the oxides of the alkali metals, and the next one, hydroxides of the alkali metals. First let me take oxides. Okay. So here we have majorly three types of the oxides. Li2O, and next one Na2O2, and one example I am taking from superoxide, that is KO2. So now here these oxides are colorless solids. These oxides are colorless solids. It means they are present in white color. And the next one, which is present in yellow color. So here oxides, peroxides are colorless crystalline solids, and next one, superoxides are yellow in color. And next one, oxides, peroxides are diamagnetic in nature. And next one, this one KO2, this is paramagnetic in nature. In this one is paramagnetic in nature. So because in case of this superoxide, in its 5-star orbital, in its 5-star p orbital, so which is 5-star 2py, and which is the 5-star 2pz. So in the molecular orbital diagram of this superoxide, so in 5-star 2py antibonding orbital, 2 electrons or pair of electrons present, and in this one unpaired electron present. So due to the presence of this unpaired electron, so this is paramagnetic in nature. In case of peroxide, so in both the orbitals pair of electrons present, that's why that is diamagnetic in nature. And next one, hydroxides of the alkali metals, they are soluble in nature. Hydroxides of alkali metals are soluble in water. Insoluble in water, and they are strong basic in nature. They are strong basic in nature. And the next one, when they are dissolved in water, amount of heat energy is liberated. So for example, this is a container. Here you take some water and you add hydroxide, any hydroxide, maybe sodium hydroxide, or potassium hydroxide. So on dissolution of the hydroxide in water, amount of heat energy is liberated. So this is an exothermic process. And next one, Na2O2. This is sodium peroxide, which is used as a oxidizing agent in inorganic compounds. So right, this is about the oxides, and next one, hydroxides of the first A group elements. So right guys, next concept is halides of alkali metals. Halides of the alkali metals. So first we need to discuss the formation of the halides of the alkali metals. First one, the formation. So we can get the halides of the alkali metals when you treat the oxides oxides of alkali metals, comma, hydroxides of alkali metals, comma, carbonates of alkali metals. Oxides means example Li2O you can take, hydroxide means you can take sodium hydroxide, carbonate means you can take Na2CO3. When these compounds are treated with the hydrohalic acid, we can get the halides of the alkali metals, right? So now here X means what? X means fluorine or chlorine or bromine or iodine. So HF is known as hydrofluoric acid, and HCl is known as hydrochloric acid, and HBr is known as hydrobromic acid, and next one HI is known as hydroiodic acid. When these oxides, hydroxides and carbonates are treated with the hydrohalic acids, we can get the halides of alkali metals. I will give you an example. First, let me treat the lithium oxide Li2O with the hydrofluoric acid HF. Now here you can get 2 moles of the LiF plus 1 mole of the water. So to balance this equation, this one should be multiplied with 2. So now this is our desired product. This is lithium fluoride or fluoride of lithium. This is example for the halide of alkali metal. Here halide is fluoride and the next one alkali metal is lithium. So this is lithium fluoride. And second example, when you treat the hydroxide, sodium hydroxide NaOH, when you treat the sodium hydroxide with the hydrochloric acid HCl, you can get here NaCl plus water. You can get NaCl plus water. You can get here. I think this is already balanced equation. 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen, 1 sodium, and 1 chlorine. All are balanced. So now this is our desired product here, which is the sodium chloride, which is lithium fluoride. And the next one, third example, let me take carbonate, that is sodium carbonate Na2CO3. This Na2CO3, when it is treated with the HCl hydrochloric acid, you can get here NaCl plus H2O plus CO2 you can get. So 2 sodiums are there, multiply with 2 here, and the next one hydrogens here 2 present, this one multiply with 2. So now which is a balanced equation. So right, this is our desired product here. So here halides are obtained when you treat the oxides, hydroxides, carbonates individually with the hydrohalic acids. When you treat them with hydrohalic acid, we can get the respective halides of the alkali metals. Okay, and the next one. Okay guys, these are colorless. Not only this, rest of remaining all halides of the alkali metals. Example, you can take NaBr, and the next one you can take cesium iodide, and you can take KBr, this is potassium bromide, etc. So these all are the examples for the halides of alkali metals. So these all are colorless. These all are colorless crystalline. These all are colorless crystalline solids, and they have more melting points. These compounds have more melting and boiling points. So they contain more melting and boiling points. So right guys, this is about the preparation or formation of the halides of alkali metals. So So next one is formation of enthalpy. Formation of enthalpy, how that one changes in the different compounds of the halides of first A group elements. So first let me define formation of enthalpy. Formation of enthalpy. This is represented with the delta small f capital H negative. So right. So then let me define this. Formation of enthalpy means the change in energy. The change in energy when one mole compound, when one mole of compound is formed from the stable elements. From the stable elements is known as formation of enthalpy. The change in energy when one mole of compound is formed from the stable elements is known as the formation of enthalpy. I will give you an example. To take elements carbons and oxygen, these are the stable elements, and these two react together and gives us carbon dioxide, that is CO2. Okay, so now here I am taking the energy, sum of the energy of these two molecules, atom and molecule, as 5 calories, and the energy of this compound I am taking it as 2 calories. So now what about the change in energy of the formation of this CO2? The change in energy is equal to, so that is delta F H minus equal to 2 minus 5. Products energy minus reactants energy, 2 minus 5, which is equals to minus 3 calories. So the change in energy or the formation of enthalpy for this reaction is minus 3 calories. Here minus represents this much amount of energy is liberated in this reaction. It means which is an exothermic reaction. So right guys, this is about the formation of enthalpy. Formation of enthalpy means what? The change in energy when one mole of compound is formed from the stable elements. Carbon and oxygen are stable elements. So here the change in energy you can get by doing the energy of the products minus energy of the reactants. 2 minus 5 minus 3 you can get here. That minus 3 is the change in energy, which is known as formation of enthalpy. So now let us see the formation of enthalpy of the halides of the alkali metals or alkyl halides. Alkali halides, not alkyl. So now let me take series of compounds with let me take the fluorides of the alkali metals. Fluorides, lithium fluoride, and the next one sodium fluoride, and the next one potassium fluoride, rubidium fluoride, and cesium fluoride. So right guys, these all are the fluorides of the first A group elements. So now here in the formation of the LiF, more negative enthalpy formation is present. So here in the formation of LiF from the lithium and fluorine, during the formation of LiF, so the formation of enthalpy is more negative. So when LiF is formed from the lithium and fluorine, the formation of enthalpy is more negative. Next one, in the formation of CSF from the cesium and fluorine, the formation of enthalpy is least negative. So now from LiF to CSF formations, the formation of enthalpy going to give less negative values. In the formation of this one, we can get formation of enthalpy more negative, but in the formation of the CSF, you can get the least negative formation of the energy. So you can take the order formation of enthalpy for this LIF greater than, NAF greater than, KF greater than, RBF, and next one CSF. In all these formations, we can get the negative values, but from here to here, negative values decreases. Means the liberation of energy decreases. Next one, let me take another set. This time, let me take lithium X, NaX, and potassium X, rubidium, and next one cesium. Here X means halogens other than fluorine. So where X means fluorine, where X means chlorine, bromine, and iodine. So here X means you can take chlorine in all these compounds, or you can take bromine, or you can take iodine. So in the formation of these halides, so here the formation of enthalpy is least negative, and here the formation of enthalpy is more negative. So now in the formation of these compounds from top to bottom, the formation of enthalpy negative value increases. The formation of enthalpy negative values increases. In all the compounds formation, negative energy liberated, but here from top to bottom, more amount of energy is liberated. The negative value is more. So now let me take another set. So this time let me take constant cation and various halogens. LIF, NAF, KF, rubidium F, and cesium F, cesium fluoride. So now here this one contains, during the formation of this one, the formation of enthalpy is more negative, and during the formation of CSF, the formation of enthalpy is least negative. So from lithium F to CSF formations, so the negative values, the formation of enthalpy negative values decreases. So however guys, in all the halides formation, negative energy liberated, energies are negative. The change in energies are negative. Our formation of enthalpy is negative during the formation of all the halides of the alkali metals. So you can say that this is exothermic. The formation of any halide is an exothermic process. If you take the NaF, the formation of NaF is an exothermic process because some amount of energy is liberated here, that is negative value. And if you take the KF, in the formation of this one also energy is liberated. KF is formed from the respective components. So during the formation of the KF, energy is liberated here, so which is also exothermic. So the formation of all the alkali halides exothermic. Exothermic means amount of energy is liberated to the system. And the next one guys, melting points. The melting points comparison of the halides. Right. Alkali fluorides means NaF or maybe LIF or CSF, KF, RBF, whatever. So the first A group fluorides contains more melting point than chlorides, and fluorides contains more melting points than bromides. Bromides contains more melting points than iodides. Right? This is the melting point order. Melting point order. And next one, solubility. all halides are soluble in water. All halides are soluble in water except two. They are lithium fluoride and next one cesium iodide. So in this lithium fluoride, the size of lithium plus and F minus very small. So here their lattice energy is very high. So due to the more lattice energy, so here its solubility decreases in water. And in this case, the hydration energy is very less for these ions. When you dissolve this one in water, the hydration energy liberated by the ions cesium plus and I minus very less. So now, when the size of the ion increases, hydration energy decreases. Cs plus contains more size, I minus also contains more size. Due to the more size, their hydration energy values decreases. That's why this is insoluble in water or slightly soluble in water. So which is about the halides of the alkali metals.